Code 10 for a 52-year-old male chest pain.
If we don't save the patient, we have all failed. The system's failing.
It's a job where every second counts.
They're not in it for what's right for the patient.
Code 10 for a 66-year-old female, short of breath, coughing up blood.
The ego and the money, it's like, this is our county, you can't tell us what to do.
They make critical decisions where minutes can be the difference between life and death.
There is no doubt in my mind that they know this is going on.
Why are you no longer a Denver Health paramedic?
It was destroying me as a person.
You are hearing testimonials from 2 veteran paramedics, combined more than 3 decades of experience.
Are you concerned you could face retaliation?
I'm sure I will.
Were you ever questioned about a decision to bring a level 1 trauma patient to the closest hospital instead of Denver Health?
Yes, by my superiors and the medical direction team.
Code 10 or level 1 trauma patients are the most critically injured. Generally, the patients needing the fastest route to an emergency room and a doctor.
Did you get in trouble for taking a critically injured patient to the closest hospital instead of Denver Health?
Yes, I did.
Once? Twice?
More than that.
What would they say?
Why didn't you take them to Denver Health? You'll know all level 1 trauma goes to Denver Health.
There's 2 kinds of paramedics who work at Denver Health. Paramedics who take all Code 10 trauma to Denver Health, and ones who used to work there.
Wow. What are you saying?
I'm saying if you were the paramedic who continually took trauma somewhere else, they would find a reason for you not to continue your employment at Denver Health.
And paramedics are not the only ones questioning that culture.
Engine 29, respond to a gunshot wound.
Multiple informed sources point to this call for a paramedic unit on May 11th of this year.
10 East DVR, the UC Health ER.
Denver 7 Investigates has learned on this day 2 men walked into this medical facility in Green Valley Ranch. Both had gunshot wounds. A doctor inside recognized the gunshot trauma for one of the victims was too serious for his facility and called 911.
2 parties walked in, GSWs, close with everybody.
A Denver Health ambulance responded. We are told the doctor suggested the paramedic transport the victim to UC Health, the closest hospital just 7 miles away. Instead, for some unknown reason, the paramedic chose to drive the gunshot victim to Denver Health, more than 19 miles away.
D3, we're going to be 10 F5 with one. Sounds like there was only one here. The other one was released, so we should be good.
I believe the paramedic who made that decision was instructed, encouraged, trained, bullied into going to Denver Health.
For that case, there was concern about where the patient was transported.
Dr. Danny Wilner confirms his hospital, UC Health, did raise questions about the decision to bypass the closest hospital and transport that gunshot victim back to Denver Health.
This is a patient safety issue, and we know that time is important for trauma patients. We know that the farther you transport someone, the less likely they're going to have a good outcome from a traumatic injury.
In fact, through a public records request, Denver 7 has learned UC Health has questioned transport decisions for level 1 trauma patients by Denver Health more than a dozen times in the past 9 months.
Why would a paramedic drive 10 or more miles further and avoid a closer level 1 trauma center?
Because if I transport the patient to Denver Health, no matter what the patient outcome is, I won't get second-guessed by my medical direction. If I transport them to another facility, it will be scrutinized and reviewed a lot closer.
Are you surprised by what we found?
Nope, not at all. All level 1 trauma goes to Denver Health. You will go by other level 1 trauma centers to go to Denver Health. If not, you were questioned as to why you did not take that patient to Denver Health.
No Denver paramedic has ever faced discipline for not bringing a trauma patient to Denver Health.
Ever?
Ever.
Dr. Kevin McVaney's title is Medical Director for Denver Health Paramedics.
Why would paramedics tell us that's not the case?
There has never been a circumstance where a paramedic has been disciplined for taking a trauma patient to another hospital. I wouldn't change a thing about how we equip and take care of our trauma patients.
You're saying you've done nothing wrong?
I've done nothing wrong. I take care of patients.
But the paramedics' medical director did admit a mistake was made with that May 11th transport of the gunshot victim. This email obtained by Denver 7, written by Dr. McVaney, reads, "My reply to UC Health on this one was that it was not the best destination. We should discuss and prep if we think this is going to go media."
The list of all the emails from UC Health, about a dozen, questioning your decision to bypass their hospital. How many of those concerns were valid? Half? 10%? None?
In my assessment, less than half of those concerns were valid.
We also questioned this email, also authored by Dr. McVaney, an internal response to questions raised in emails by UC Health. It reads, "I don't want to overemphasize these because I don't want the U to set our agenda."
What did that say?
It says that outside emails don't dictate how we provide care. I don't want any outside force dictating how we take care of patients in Denver.
52 were sent to Elliott and Colorado.
Do you think Denver Health believes that they can't be stopped?
Yes, they do. They play by their own rules.
What would you say to Dr. McVaney right now?
Dr. McVaney, do the right thing. Step outside of the political nature of what's going on here and do the right things for the patient.
Time to fight with one.
Disappointed that this issue has come to light?
I'm deeply disappointed if any of our paramedics thought that our goal was anything other than how to best take care of our patients.
It's 4:36 in the morning, September 28th of last year.
314, I'll be following the first bus to Denver Health.
The man inside the ambulance in front of this police car survived a serious car crash. His passenger died. The ambulance is driving code 10, lights and sirens, the highest priority call.
On the ramp westbound towards I-70.
It's another example of a controversial culture living inside Denver Health's paramedics division.
We just rolled up on an accident. We're not involved, but we'll die.
And the questions center on decisions made here in the minutes before the ambulance started driving westbound to Denver Health.
Where are they taking him?
Are you guys going to University? Denver Health.
That brief exchange exposes the heart of this issue.
They're going to Denver Health? That's where they're going.
Why transport a seriously injured patient to Denver Health more than 14 miles away, a drive that took more than 17 minutes, when another qualified level 1 hospital was only 4 miles away?
They're going to Denver Health? That's where they're going.
University is closer. Why? Why would we be doing that?
She's the president of Denver City Council, Stacy Gilmore, questioning why paramedics chose not to take that seriously injured patient to UC Health, the closest level 1 trauma center.
What did you take from the tone and the questions that were asked?
They were questioning the objective. They didn't agree with it. It seemed odd that they were going to go to a different facility when there was one so close.
Does Denver Health need to explain this decision?
I think they should.
Earlier this year, Denver 7 Investigates raised concerns about several other questionable transport decisions by Denver Health paramedics.
2 parties locked in, GSWs, with everybody.
This call for a gunshot wound in Green Valley Ranch, along with more than a dozen other questionable decisions raised by medical professionals in emails, our digging discovered.
Why would a paramedic drive 10 or more miles further and avoid a closer level 1 trauma center?
Because if I transport the patient to Denver Health, no matter what the patient outcome is, I won't get second guessed by my medical direction. If I transport them to another facility, it will be scrutinized and reviewed a lot closer.
Our reporting also included rare behind-the-curtain insights from more than a half dozen current and former Denver Health paramedics.
Are you surprised by what we found?
Nope, not at all. All level 1 trauma goes to Denver Health. You will go by other level 1 trauma centers to go to Denver Health. If not, you were questioned as to why you did not take that patient to Denver Health.
Reaction to what we reported?
Very concerning. I would like to get to the bottom of it.
There's two kinds of paramedics who work at Denver Health. Paramedics who take all Code 10 trauma to Denver Health, and ones who used to work there.
What are you saying?
I'm saying if you were the paramedic who continually took trauma somewhere else, they would find a reason for you not to continue your employment at Denver Health.
What did you hear from those paramedics?
That they were conflicted. They wanted to do what they felt was right, what was in the best interest of the patient that they were responsible for, and they felt like they couldn't do that.
The president of Denver City Council represents the city's 11th district, located in northeast Denver. She says it's a diverse district with a strong Latino and Black population. It's the district where we discovered the concerning decisions on that gunshot wound and the critical car crash.
What if senior leadership at Denver Health ultimately say we're not going to change anything? Is that acceptable?
No. Because you are, by taking that stance, quite possibly putting Black and brown people at a greater risk than the rest of the population.
We wanted to raise those points to Denver Health CEO Robin Wittenstein. We wanted to ask her if she plans to make changes to the culture that has produced serious questions from paramedics, medical professionals, and now the president of Denver City Council. Our multiple requests were declined.
If Denver Health CEO says we're not going to answer questions in front of this camera, is that acceptable?
No, because it's Denver taxpayers who are putting money into these facilities. They deserve to have answers to understand if, God forbid, something life-changing happened to a loved one, that they weren't going to go on a joyride through the city, that they were going to take the quickest route to that emergency room, get stabilized, and determine the next steps.